Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Alright, so, this video, I'm going to be explaining to you all of my acting tips. As you may have seen in my other video, I am in a play for my school. I'm doing Henry IV Part 1, and I'm okay at acting, and I like it, so I'm here to share with you some of the tips that I've learned after doing a couple more plays. The first play I ever did was As You Like It. I was Ganymede, and then I also did Much Ado About Nothing, where I was Don John, and this year I am playing King Henry IV in King Henry IV Part 1. So, without further ado, let us get into the tips. Alright. Tip number 1 is clarity. So, there are multiple ways you can do this, but how I like to think of it is, even if you're incredibly loud, and you project you're the best at projection, it doesn't matter if people can't understand what you're saying. So you can't be mumbling. You can't just be like, oh my gosh, here's my lines. You have to be people have to be able to hear you. A number of ways to do that is to slow down. When you're saying your lines and reciting them, usually you'll think oh, the pauses here aren't very good. Oh, I need to keep going. Oh, I forgot it. Oh, you get all jittery. But there are dramatic pauses in acting, so if you you need to embrace the pauses, embrace your mistakes, guys. Embrace the times when you mess up or you stumble and then you just wait. Especially if it's a dramatic line, then you wait. I have a line that's, God pardon thee, and a lot of the times I forget what comes after it, but it's fine because there's supposed to be a dramatic pause there. So just remember, don't go super fast, because if you go super fast, no one can understand you. Because if you talk really fast and then you say your lines really fast, no one can understand what you're saying. Especially if someone's in the 50th row, and you don't have a microphone. So just remember to be clear, use diction, slow down, and make sure you are clear. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is making sure people can hear you, okay? So ways to do this. Projection. It's not about yelling. Anyone can yell, duh. But projection is not yelling. It's about just raising your volume so that more people can hear you. It's not about yelling. That's different. That you can tell the difference when someone's yelling and someone's just talking louder. So what you want to do on stage is you want to focus on talking louder. You don't want to focus on being the loudest. You want to just make sure that you're at a good tone and that everyone in the back can hear you. A good way to test this is to have a friend of yours or your director go to the back, and then you say your line, and then they'll tell you if they can't hear you. You know how in singing or music class you have your head voice and your chest voice, right? So your head voice is like this and your chest voice is like this. What you need to do when you're projecting for acting is use your chest voice, because if you're using your head voice, then you're just going to wear yourself out. And you also sound like a girl, especially if you're playing like me. If you're a girl and you're playing a boy's part, absolutely, under no circumstances use your head voice. You will sound like a girl and it will just ruin it, okay? Don't do that. What you need to do is use your chest voice, especially if you're playing a character that comes from the gut, like Falstaff. You want to be using your chest voice to project, okay? I know a lot of quiet people, and a lot of my friends are quiet, and they're also in the Shakespeare play. So, and I just try to keep telling them, if you use your chest voice, and it's a lot easier, because your chest voice, you just raise your volume. You're not getting angry or anything, you're just louder. But when you use your head voice, it's very much like you're yelling. See the difference? So if you want to be better at projecting, just remember, use your chest voice and just try and raise the volume. Don't try and scream at someone. Okay, that's tip number 2. And I would say tip number 3 is know your gosh darn line. It's annoying to me, especially because I don't know all of my lines. But you have to know your lines or else you can't do the play, okay? If you are shaky on them, and I mean know your lines. I don't mean oh, I think I can do them. Learn your lines. For multiple reasons. One being that you understand your character better, because you understand what they're going through, or what they're not going through, or why they're happy, or why they're sad. If you read the lines, then you know that better, and you'll be able to understand that character and then play it well. Also, another way to do that is that whatever scene you're in, read your lines and read the person before you's lines to figure out what you are saying and what they are saying. Yeah, so what you need to do is to make sure that you know your character and you know your lines. Those are most of my acting tips. Yeah, and if you have any others, that would be great. You can put those in the comments below for other people who might be watching. And yeah, but also, well, my last tip would be probably just to have fun, because if you're nervous, it shows. If you're like I do this a lot, is I do this, but yeah, another tip is that you should be, make sure you're not nervous, because it shows. Make sure when you're on stage you're not nervous, because it shows a lot. Like if you're supposed to be like this, oh, I'm Hotspur or something, or oh, I'm Glendower or something, then you can't be like concave like this, like with your hands, or like squirming, or like shuffling your feet, because your character wouldn't do that. Unless your character does that, when go right ahead and be nervous. But if your character is like Hotspur or Glendower, or someone who's like, ooh, I'm this character, then you really have to like make sure that you aren't nervous. And just in general, don't be nervous, because one, people are like, you're just gonna act a lot worse if you're nervous, and two, people like don't care. Like they already know that you're nervous, so like what's the point, right? It's just not gonna help you in any way. So just turn your nervousness into excitement, because what I do is like I just go crazy when I'm on stage, and I'm just like, woo, let's go. So those are my tips. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope they were helpful. They're helpful to me. This is just stuff I've like accumulated over the years of doing Shakespeare, because it's very hard sometimes. But yeah, also just have confidence too. Like, you can do it. If you know your lines, and if you've followed the tips, and you've practiced and you've rehearsed, you're going to be okay. So just don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Just put in the effort, and you'll be able to do it. That is me, Peachy Keen, signing off with you. So I hope you liked it. And if you do, go right down there and hit that like button. Maybe subscribe please. And then put a little comment down there. Oh yeah, comment any plays that you've done. If you've done plays, I would love to know. Thank you. Bye.